It's time for Research Matters with Kuda and Unda. Now, it is an online show that is all about communicating the research taking place at NUST in efforts to promote the university's research agenda and the impact thereof. Now, of course, I'm joined by my co-host, Kuda, and she will introduce our guest for this morning.
Unda, thank you so much. As always, it's a pleasure and always exciting to be here. Now, today in the house, we have Dr. David Iiyambo. He is the head of the Department of Mathematics, Statistics and Actuarial Science in the Faculty of Health, Natural Resources and Applied Sciences. Doctor, welcome to Research Matters. Now, let's dive right into it. Tell us, we would like to know, what is a typical day like for you in the office, right from the time you wake up?
Thank you, ladies. Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
It's an honor.
A typical day in the office, ever since I went into admin, of course, student matters will also be coming in. Paperwork.
Yes, of course, paperwork.
The paperwork, yeah. But also, I am also teaching and conducting my research. I have a course that I'm teaching, but I'm also trying to slowly improve my research portfolio.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does it feel like to not only be like an academic and hold that title as doctor, but still engage with us, the young people, on a day-to-day basis as a senior lecturer? What is that experience like?
He's giving this a lot of thought.
To be honest, I've always been of the opinion that the doctor title should be reserved for people who've earned the right to heal people.
I don't think a lot of academics are going to agree with you on that.
Well, maybe not. It's not yeah. So it's really just a qualification, like any other qualification. We were all trying to excel in whatever area we tend to find ourselves in, and therefore that I don't think it should have any effect on how we interact with anyone else, whether it's colleagues or whether it's students or even our people in the community. It's
okay,
it's really,
just an experience, so to say.
Yeah.
All right, now we can all agree that math and statistics, or mathematics rather, and statistics are all about numbers. But if we look at it in terms of layman's terms, for someone as basic as me who just does radio and journalism and so forth, what does actuarial science really encompass? What is it all about?
Actuarial science, and maybe I should also, before I go into that, it's a name change. And it's a question that has been coming up over the past few months after the name of the department has changed. We are not yet offering a program in actuarial science.
Okay.
But we are in the preliminary stages of developing a program in actuarial science. Now, actuarial science has to do with insurances. I might not give the correct description of what it entails, but one really uses mathematical and statistical techniques to analyze and predict insurance-related dynamics, if I may put it that way. Yeah, so it has to do with insurance, and actuaries work in companies like Old Mutual, Sanlam. I think there might be a few working in the banks as well, but predominantly they are working in insurance companies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that is very interesting. Yeah. Now, obviously one of the things that we brought you here to the show to speak about were the projects that you're currently involved in. So not necessarily at an individual level, but just in terms of your department. What are some of the projects that you'd like the public to know about that you're involved in?
All right. Our department is a diverse department. We have mathematicians, we have statisticians, and of course, NUST is sort of an applied institution, if I may put it that way, and therefore most of the projects that the colleagues in the department are involved in are on the application side of mathematics and statistics. For me personally, I'm into dynamical systems. Dynamical systems are systems that change over time according to some equations that govern their behavior, so to say. Now, that's a broad term, first of all. And my specific interest is in epidemiological modeling. Epidemiological modeling, it's an area where we use mathematical and statistical techniques to predict the spread of diseases. It came in handy 3 or so years ago when COVID hit, for instance. It was a new thing. First of all, even the nature of the disease itself is unknown, but we still want to have an idea of how it will spread, and this will inform the policymakers regarding intervention. What do you do? Do you lock people down and so on? Mm-hmm. So, in a nutshell, that is the type of projects that I am involved in. But otherwise, as a department, we are more into applications of statistics or applications of mathematics into modeling or understanding natural systems.
Okay.
I really like that. I think that, and this is exactly the point of this show, to be able to break something down so that the average person can understand. Because the moment I hear mathematics,
it's
statistics, my head starts
complex
hurting.
already. You're like, how?
But well said.
Exactly. Before we head on a musical break, there is a request from you, Doctor, by Ellen Jackson, The Older I Get. What does that signify for you? Why did you choose that song?
The older that one gets, you become emotionally stable. You don't see most of the things the way you used to see them before. You tend to now hold down stable and solid relationships, for instance. Not that they might be fewer than they used to be,
yes,
but the ones that you have right now are quite the solid ones. The ride or die, or what do you say? Those types of relationships. Yeah. So it reminds me of that kind of dynamics in a person's life. The older you get, you become mature, you get more life experiences and so on. Yeah.
I love that.
Welcome back, and if you've just joined us, you're listening to Unda and Kuda right here on NUST FM, and we're live in studio with Dr. Iiyambo, the head of the Department of Mathematics, Statistics and Actuarial Science in the Faculty of Health, Natural Resources and Applied Sciences. Now, Doctor, we've been unpacking a lot of things in this field, and it's been quite exciting for you to just be able to break it down for the average person. What does this mean? Why is this important? So this conversation is quite relevant. Now, for a lot of young people, let me not even say young people, for people that are just perhaps curious about this career path, what would you say to somebody, a young person, or anyone actually for that matter, that is thinking about taking careers in the field that you're currently in? Yay or nay?
Definitely yay. We don't have many of those, especially Namibians, with qualifications from a master's level to a PhD level in mathematics and statistics. And we would like to have a few of those. It's a traditionally scary field, but I think my experience has always been that if you've had pardon my French, a crappy teacher at the foundation level, then it will be difficult. Mathematics and statistics is what it builds on what you already know. And therefore, if your foundation is not well grounded, then yes, you will struggle. But it's not a lost cause, because it obviously takes some sacrifices, but it's a good field. It's really a good field, and people tend to be scared away by the X, Ys, and the Zs, but there are quite a lot of useful applications of mathematics in society. So definitely we need more of those.
Yeah. Now, just speaking on foundation, because I can attest to the fact that, you when you have a lecturer or, a teacher at foundation level that's really not patient, but also not willing to sort of help you out of that box, because, as soon as you see numbers, you're already mentally going, your brain is literally stuck. So how do you apply a model, rather, that you've seen that works with your students? What is the type of application that you have? Do you incorporate any fun elements, like a little bit of games and so forth, to make it a little bit more?
Yes, it's good that you've spoken of games, but I think a person's interest is in most cases aroused when they see where they can apply whatever it is that you're teaching them.
Yeah.
So it's important that if you are teaching a certain topic, maybe at the introductory level, try by all means to bring in some idea of where they would be able to use something like that. And sometimes it doesn't even need to be in real life. It could be in some other courses that they are doing, and so on. But at the end of the day, the problem that we have is that we have few teachers, and more students, and therefore students or learners might not necessarily be getting the attention that they need from teachers, and I think that needs to improve. So in our departments, we have recruited student tutors at 3rd years and 4th years, just to help with tutorials on the side in our tutoring center, to give that one-on-one attention to the students, and we hope that it will help.
Now, you've achieved so much already, and so we're looking at 2033, for example, 10 years, fast forward. What does that look like career-wise for you? Ideally, what would you still want to achieve?
And if I can as well, particularly from a research perspective, what is it that you would still want to do? What is on your checklist, if I can put it that way?
Okay, I'm not quite sure I agree with achieving so much already. I haven't. My research profile is not that impressive yet. It's not impressive at all, if I may put it that way.
I love the candidness, and I love the humility as well.
I would like to do more research-wise. I would like to, in a few years, to have had supervised a number of students, bring them to some level. And that wouldn't be in my checklist. I haven't supervised. I'm busy supervising one right now. I haven't supervised a PhD student yet. I would like to have a few of those.
I like that goal, like to actually say, this is where I want to be, and to be also realistic, to say, right now I'm not just going to give myself pats on the back and blow my own horn, but I need to get there. I need to step up. And that hunger is, I think, that we all need to have, and that is exactly what is going to take us to the next level. Now, before we wrap up with Unda and Kuda, I just wanted to find out also, at some stage offline, we spoke about the Mathematics Olympiad. You mentioned something about that. What is that? Can you tell us about that?
It's an interesting concept. It's been around for years, first of all, but in Namibia, not so much. Mathematics Olympiad is, I don't know whether to call it the Olympics of mathematics. Right, yeah. So what you have is, you have kids competing in solving mathematical problems. Now, this in Namibia, I think it started 2 years ago, but this year would be the first time Namibia would be sending a team to the Pan-African Mathematics Olympiad that would be held in Kigali.
That's a milestone.
It's a team of 6 boys and 6 girls, and those were our best from last year's National Olympiad. A few years ago, we had a boot camp with them in Ongwediva, just trying to prepare them for that competition. So they'll be leaving in May. But to answer your question, it's basically just learners competing to solve mathematical problems, and we hope that it will arouse an interest in those learners to delve into mathematics or statistics fields.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just like that, we've come to the end of Research Matters with Kuda and Unda.
You just said Kuda. I think that can work too.
Yeah, but this is the end of this week's podcast or episode. And don't forget, you can catch this live on NUST FM in 2 weeks again on a Tuesday, 11:15. And of course, for more details regarding our next episode of Research Matters with Unda and Kuda, you can follow the Research, Innovation and Partnerships at NUST. That is on their Facebook and LinkedIn pages, as well as the NUST FM Facebook, Instagram and Twitter social media platforms as well. And with that, we'll sign off with another request from Dr. Iiyambo, and the song is titled God's Got a Reason for Everything. Do stay logged on to NUST FM.
It's raining today and I don't know why. I'm waiting on the sun to